What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside the Game, your source for all that's cool in the world of video games. Now, you can always be a part of our show. All you have to do is go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord, where there you can submit your clip and end off our show. What's coming up on today's episode? Here it is. It's the rundown.
Steve, like I said, we're going back in time this week and we're checking out a revitalized version of the original Sega game.
Don't let the title fool you. This is no fairy tale, lighthearted adventure. When 5 friends from college got together and won the PlayStation Talents Award in Madrid, Spain for their beautiful, mysterious, dark sci-fi world,
I'm going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks along Fallout for the next few weeks. And the first thing I'm going to do, this might come as a bit of a shock to you, but there are a ton of vendors in Fallout 76. And there's a place where you can access almost every single vendor all in one single spot.
Rumors are flying, and we're talking about GTA. Yes, more rumors about GTA. No, not GTA 5. And the fact that it's coming to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, we pretty well know that's confirmed. Looks like another loaded show, so let's get started with Cory and Steve with Alex the Kid.
Steve, we're throwing it back all the way to 1986 this week with Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. Let's check it out. Steve, like I said, we're going back in time this week and we're checking out a revitalized version of the original Sega game, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX. This is an action platformer that in its time really kind of rivaled Mario. It's very similar to the Super Mario Bros. Game. And honestly, that's a good thing because it was Sega's version of Mario that kind of worked really, really well. And you know what? I had a good time with this game. It was kind of nice to be able to kind of jump back into this retro style of action platformer that, you know, let's just put it out there right now, is not easy. This game is punishing, man. And that's, you know what? That fits the style of game it was back in 1986. And it's as frustrating as it can be. I think that's what kind of, you know, brings the nostalgia back with this game, is that level of difficulty, because that's what these games were like back then. What did you think jumping into this one?
I have to say, when I first jumped in, I did enjoy it, because obviously you start off with the new defined graphics, the improvement and the audio and everything like that. So I thought visually it looked really nice, and then you've got the option by hitting one of the trigger buttons and it will actually flip to the old 86 version of the game. And do you know what? That transition is very smooth and very quick. I was expecting a loading screen and things like that. But going back to the defined, the graphical style of it, I did find that, because it is a platform game, so you do a lot of jumping, and the idea is you hit the blocks to get coins, which you can use in the shop later on, or you have to break blocks to make platforms to get to certain areas or get higher up on the level. But the issue I had with the nice graphics was there was nice placed textures, as we talked about earlier before this, that when you do a jump onto a block, I kept dying. And then when I flipped back to the 86 version, I realised I wasn't making the block good enough. But apart from that, I did have issues with the mechanics of the game. How about you?
Yeah, you know what? Again, this game is difficult. That's the way it's supposed to be played. There is an option for infinite lives, which is something I actually toggled onto. I'll kind of touch into that a little bit later. But, you know, you do get 3 lives in this, and it's, you know, 3 hits and you're out. And wherever you are in that level, you'll have to restart from the beginning, which is fairly punishing because everything in this game is a one-hit, one-kill kind of scenario. So you really got to do your best kind of learning these levels. It's a lot of trial and error. I mean, overall, the game takes about an hour and a half, 2 hours to play through the story completely. But because of how punishing it is, I mean, you could be in this game for hours and hours past that, which is the difficult difficult portion of this, because for some people that might be the wall that stops them from kind of moving through this game. If you're a fan of the original game or know anything about Alex Kidd, I think you'll find some enjoyment in this game. Like you said, the seamless transition from the modernized graphics back to the original Sega graphics is really done well. I mean, you just press that right trigger and it just switches the screen, and you can switch it back, and it's it was really cool to be able to do that. I mean, I prefer to play on the newer style graphics, but like you said, I feel like they took the kind of the hit boxes and the physics from the retro graphics and then just put the new graphic skin over it, because your character's a little bit taller in the retro graphics, and I found in the newer style your character's a little bit smaller, but I was still getting hit like on top of my head, but I wasn't actually being contacted from the enemy or whatever it was. So I was kind of like, what's going on here? So when I played through in the retro style mode, I noticed that. And I was wondering, I wonder if that's maybe the issue that's going on here. Again, that's a very small thing to be kind of picky about, but it's just something you kind of notice when you're playing through. I did have issues when I kind of jumped and attacked an enemy that I would take out the enemy, but also die at the same time, which I thought was kind of weird. I thought if I took the enemy out, I'd be okay, but I guess just the collision between the two characters was enough for me to, even though I got him, I also got too. So that was a little frustrating. But as I played through this, Steve, the story here is done fairly well. Prince Alex Kidd has come back to save Redaxian, and he's kind of fighting through all these bosses, and he kind of goes on to the end to get Jankin, and the whole idea is to save the kingdom and restore order to Redaxian. So you play through some of these kind of very interesting characters as you meet these people along the way, and they did a good job kind of revitalizing this game overall. But it was a difficult playthrough, and if it wasn't for the infinite lives mode, I would have had a very difficult time sticking with this, because the 3 lives and you're out was just almost too punishing for me.
The one thing I did find interesting as well, like you said, on the boss, is not your typical all action, go in and punch up or fight your boss. It was actually paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah, that's 2 out of 3.
Boss. Yeah, and I found it very punishing on that front as well, of like getting to the final boss with the 3 lives and then losing with paper, rock, scissors, and then doing the whole level again.
Yeah. The level of difficulty is the hardest part about this game, and is what's going to probably, like we said earlier, is what's going to stop people from moving through this game with ease. But if you're into the challenge, I think there is something there for you. Steve, if we got to score this game, what are you going to give Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX?
To be honest with you, I think if people played the previous one and they loved it, I think they would like this new update, because they've kept it to the original, which is half the trouble why it's so brutal. But in that sort of thing, I did have a lot of fun. The frustration, would it keep me coming back? I don't think it would. So I'm going to give this a 6.
You know what, Steve? I'm right there with you, because I got that feeling. They did a great job at taking a game from 1986, slapping a new skin on it, adding a few more levels, and they did a great job. Being able to seamlessly switch between the new graphics and the old style was done really well. The challenge is there if you want it, but sometimes some people don't want something that's challenging. So you know what? I'm right there with you with a 6. Alex Kidd is a great retro revival that surprisingly holds up with its difficult gameplay, and the cool ability to be able to switch up the graphics between new and retro on the fly was a really nice touch.
What does home mean to you? It means taking your home one biome at a time in Clid the Snail. Don't let the title fool you. This is no fairy tale light-hearted adventure. when 5 friends from college got together and won the PlayStation Talents Award in Madrid, Spain for their beautiful, mysterious, dark sci-fi world, Clid the Snail had just begun his dark adventure. Set in what Weird Beluga is calling a dark sci-fi setting, Clid the Snail is not your average slime-slithering snail. Taking on a more human-like ailment, Clid and the other animals within the world are anything but slow. The world has been hit with a plague, and slugs are destroying everything. In this dark fable, Clid is abandoned by the Citadel and runs into some outcasts that will set him on an adventure to find out where this plague has come from. The world of human remains are left behind, but not forgotten. Skulls, forks, and other human-sized elements are scattered throughout the world and bring a sense of scale to our minute friend who is joined on his quest by Blue, a cheerful firefly that isn't taking well from Clid, a more rude, troublesome character who's just out for his next beer. In my playthrough lasting around 45 minutes, I found myself lost within the environments of the game. Visuals were stunning, audio that surrounds a level felt like I was placed within the world, and the lighting was a visual standout. Gunplay felt great, and after collecting enough crystals, the in-game currency, I was able to buy more ammo for Clid's weaponry, and eventually upgrades and shells for Clid are coming in the full release, but was something I was not able to experience within the build of the game. Though I wasn't fond of the choice to use mumbo-jumbo verbiage, the linear story is compelling and seems meaningful. Taking inspiration from some of the best shooters around, like Dead Nation, Alien Nation, and Ex Machina, Weird Beluga wanted to take what they love most of these fast-paced twin-stick shooters and bring a strong story that we have all felt at some point throughout our own lives. The feeling of not belonging, that feeling of being left out. A strong twin-stick shooter that's tactical with a focused story and some scattered puzzle mechanics and exploration had my short-lived experience looking for more. You can look for Clid the Snail coming to PS4 this summer and later to PC.
Cala Zatara. Simagejetera.
If you like rhythm games and VR, I got a game for you, so stick around. I checked out a new rhythm game over on the PlayStation VR. This is Synth Riders from Retrowave VR. It was a new game that I wanted to check out that was similar in the same vein as one of the biggest rhythm games around. We all know in VR as Beat Saber. Can they hold their own? Well, they're pretty close, I'll give them that. I had a good time. It was able to get me off the seat, stand up, and move around, but instead of using our lightsabers like we're used to in the past, now we're just kind of bouncing off orbs. We're following this rail-like system, and from there hitting orbs all over the place. And of course, the higher the difficulty, the more orbs are coming at you with different locations and a whole new rhythm to go to. It was pretty cool, and I've had a great time so far. There's a playlist of 8 different genres with a full list of tracks. Now, to be completely transparent, I was given all the DLC songs to go along with this, so I didn't have to worry about what I was going to be playing. There is DLC, there will be stuff to purchase, there will be DLC in the future, I'm sure, as well. So there's a full library and more on the way. But for me to get in, I was able to get in, pick a bunch of songs, some I knew, some I didn't, and there's other tracks in there that have full-on experiences that go along with that particular track. Like I was playing an Offspring song, and it had its own experience. So they made this so that the skeletons and stuff came at you within the track, a little bit different than what I've played in some of the other songs that are just, I don't want to say generic, but they're there, right? Like they're just a generic background as the orbs are there. And if you are prone of seizures, you might want to stay away from this game. This is not for you in the slightest. There's a lot going on with this neon effect and everything else, to the point where even at one point it was a little too overbearing for myself. When you get into Beat Saber, I found everything just flows a lot smoother, and in here there's just a lot of flashing, flickering things going on, and it's a little overbearing to get your concept of, okay, I'm trying to follow the orbs, but sometimes I'll lose that orb within the background, and it just gets a little over cumbersome, and sometimes, man, you just need to step away. If you're into that dance pop music, you're definitely gonna like what is involved with Synth Riders. There's a lot of that music geared towards this. It's up to get you moving around. It's not really my genre when it comes to the world of music. I'm more an alternative guy, so I like to have the heavier side of things, and I lacked a lot of that content, which is for myself. But it is there. I want to see if they're going to be able to bring over more licensed music in the future. I think that'll help kind of the longevity of the game. I think that's the biggest thing. They need to add more tracks. What's there right now is a good foundation, but it's something they need to build upon to keep the community going. It's pretty simple, pretty standard, pretty straightforward. You have your single player or you have your party mode, and of course there's a leaderboard, so there's stuff to compete with if you have friends who are going to get into this as well. My biggest problem with the game was actually one of the motion controllers just kind of felt a little floaty. It didn't seem to be on point or connected properly all the time. A lot of it was good, but sometimes it would just have this disconnect, and I felt like the orb was off of where my hand was actually located. So hopefully that will get a little bit balanced and be a little better in the future for sure. All in all, I think Synth Riders is a good way to get off your couch if you're looking to get into some rhythm on the VR. It is a cool alternative to Beat Saber. I definitely do enjoy the game. It took me a little bit to get into, but once you found your, you get on one of these one or two songs, and all of a sudden it kind of hits with you and it connects, and away you go, and you start following the motion. I was actually kind of bopping around. It was cool. I had a good time. For me, I'm there with the 7. Synth Riders will have you up and moving to the music, and is a great addition to your VR rhythm gaming library. Hope they bring in more licensed tracks.
Alright, this week in Level Up, I'm going to be talking about Fallout 76. Yep, I know, I've been grinding this game for the last several weeks, and not even reluctantly so. I am obsessed with this game now. This MMO has finally evolved into the Fallout co-op experience that I've always wanted. I'm almost level 250 at this point, guys. That is saying something for someone who doesn't dupe and do all that cheating stuff. But anyways, I'm going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks along Fallout for the next few weeks. And the first thing I'm going to do, this might come as a bit of a shock to you, but there are a ton of vendors in Fallout 76. And there's a place where you can access almost every single vendor all in one single spot. So obviously a big thing in this game is caps. Caps you use to buy plans, you can buy meds, ammo, all sorts of goodies are used with caps, especially when visiting other people's camps, because that's where you'll get a lot of these good things. But until recently, when I discovered White Springs Resort's vendors, well, this changed everything. So if you look here on the map, it's roughly in the center of the map. I will give you a good showing of exactly where it is, so you have a good time to kind of register it. But if you simply go to the White Spring Resort, fast travel to this location, kind of follow my steps along the way, because this place is a little bit complex, but it's not if you know where you're going. So following me through this door, you enter the big open area. You then just walk downstairs and head down a hallway simply to your right. So, as you see, this hallway is filled with vendors. I mean, you got every single vendor you can possibly think of. You got the Responders, you got the Brotherhood of Steel, you got the Raiders, you have Junk, you have Black Powder Weapons Specialist. I mean, guys, this place has absolutely everything. I had no idea this was in the map until not that long ago. I was just kind of trotting along crushing quests and came upon this place, and wow, just blown away by all the different plans I can buy. Not to mention this little room that has every single workshop and a stash, easy for you to access. Like I said, this place is just a hidden gem. I did not know about this. I was kind of just going from the Raiders camp and Crater, or to Foundation, or just simply to Flatwoods just to talk to the responders and maybe buy some of their gear. All these different places now are all together. I'm sure it's been like this since the beginning of this game's launch, but it's such a big map I never even noticed this. And I've even shown people, some of my friends that I'm playing with, and they had no idea either. So I figured this would be a great way for me to show you guys. This is where to buy all the plans and all the goodies if you're in search for multiple items. Now granted, you can't buy stuff with treasury notes here. Of course, those are still at Vault 79 and of course the Crater and Foundation vendors. But as far as caps goes, guys, there are a ton of good plans here. I mean, you have all the excavator plans for the excavator power armor. This power armor may seem weak at first, but I've seen some amazing builds with it, especially if you're a looter like myself. But that's it for this week in Level Up in Fallout 76. Let me know if you guys knew about this place, or if this is something that interests you and actually is going to help you for getting some of those plans that you've been farming for. I personally love this spot. There's a ton to explore within all of Void Springs, but these vendors alone just really opened everything up for me. So I hope I'll see you in the wastelands of Appalachia soon.
This week's mobile mention, I've got one of my personal favorite genres, a battle royale. We're checking out Battlelands Royale. The first thing you're going to notice about Future Play's Battlelands Royale is just how polished this game looks. I mean, it runs flawlessly on my Android device, and it is also available on iOS as well. And you know what, this game just kind of drew me in right away. I love battle royales, and if this is a genre you really do like, this game has it all for you. I mean, we've got the closing zones, we've got looting and shooting, we even have a bunch of different game modes as well. We've got solos, duos, quads, and actually almost every other day or so we're getting limited time modes that keep switching out, whether it's a campers only shotgun round or snipers only. This game kind of just encompasses everything you like in a battle royale and simplifies it into these, short, quick matches, where we've got, 20 so people into this match, and whether it's quads or solos, you can kind of just jump in and jump out, and it's a ton of fun. Let me tell you, the fact that you can kind of add your friends in here and be able to kind of join up together and play these quad matches or some of these limited time modes, I thought was really, really fun. And there's a ton of challenges. There's also a battle pass you can get. Let me tell you, man, if you like battle royales, you gotta check out Battlelands Royale. This game is just too much fun.
The video game industry is full of what ifs, leaks, and rumors. And of course, nothing excites us more about some upcoming rumors. And that's what we're talking about today in the Rumor Mill. Let's get going. rumors are flying, and we're talking about GTA. Yes, more rumors about GTA. No, not GTA 5, and the fact that it's coming to PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. We pretty well know that's confirmed. However, what's not confirmed is the release of the GTA Trilogy, the era of PS2 GTA. I'm talking about GTA 3, GTA Vice City, and San Andreas. That is right, classics that a lot of us have played and many have not, and is rumored to be coming out later this year. Kotaku has been doing some digging, and according to their sources, Rockstar is actively developing remastered versions of the Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. All three of these games are being remastered using none other than the Unreal Engine, and it's going to have a mix of new and old graphics. Kind of a weird spin, but we'll see what happens going forward. One of their sources, who claims to have seen a snippet of the game in action, actually said their visuals reminded them of a classic GTA title that's been heavily modded. The UI of the games have been updated as well, but remain in the same classic style. Their sources have also highlighted that they're staying true to the PS2 era of GTA games as much as possible. Sources have confirmed that Rockstar Dundee are the team working on the remastered ports of the game, as well as they're helping out with the GTA 5 port that's supposed to be coming out later this year. Rockstar Dundee was known as Ruffian Games and worked on Crackdown 2, 3, we won't really comment on that one, as well as the Master Chief Collection. So they have worked on some fantastic titles, and they're seen to be leading the charge when it comes to this remastered version of the Trilogy. Originally, the games were coming as a free update for those who purchased the next GTA 5 or GTA Online when it comes to next-gen consoles. But things have changed, and it sounds like it's being formed as a trilogy now, coming later in October or November to PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox One, Series XS, Switch, PC, Stadia, and mobile phones. This leads me to one final question. How excited are you for Grand Theft Auto Trilogy? Have you played the originals? I did. GTA 3, San Andreas, Vice City. Oh wow, will they have the original soundtracks? That's a big staple within these games for Grand Theft Auto, and the nostalgia it carries forward. If you played the actual original one, it was a top-down view. 1997 was the Grand Theft Auto, was when it really kind of started, but really changed in 2001 with Grand Theft Auto 3. Third-person perspective changed the whole scope of the game, and well, we've all seen it since. Are you guys gonna get it? Let us know over on Twitter, the official ITG. Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. Let's go.
So this past week, EA and DICE released a short film for Battlefield 2042. And let me tell you, this one looked pretty cool. You can look it up on YouTube. It's Battlefield 2042 Exodus. And this 9-minute short film kind of explains some of the events leading up to kind of where we're at when the game starts in 2042. I want to preface with saying we aren't getting a campaign in Battlefield, so it's kind of interesting to see a short film like this kind of pop up, but nevertheless, it was so well done. We are seeing a returning character in Irish, voiced and motion captured in this particular film by Michael K. Williams, who honestly just fits this role so well. It's nice to see Irish back, and the fact is we're kind of picking up after the events of Battlefield 4, so it's cool to see this film kind of take place and give us a little bit of intel on the fact that we're going to be able to play Irish as a playable character in the upcoming game. And EA and DICE have come out and said that we're going to be getting some of the new characters, I think 4 more before the launch of the game on October 15th. So that's pretty cool to see some of the specialists. We're going to be getting some more information about them. But honestly, if you haven't checked out this Exodus short film, you got to, because the action pack in this one is unbelievable.
Alright guys, some exciting news coming from the world of Hunt Showdown. Finally, we got a date for the new event that we've been teased for all this time. Light the Shadow will be launching from August 25th to September 22nd. What do these events usually entail? Well, you get all sorts of exclusive rewards, legendary hunters, legendary weapons, all sorts of stuff, in-game currency to help you buy more of these weapons and legendary hunters, yes, this also is dropping on the new map to sell. That's what this trailer shows. So finally, I think we'll be able to play this on consoles. I've been itching to play DeSalle for months since it was first teased. So finally, with that on top of new legendary hunters in this trailer, yes, we get a new bow and axe alongside 2 or maybe 3 new legendary hunters. The chest plate on the male hunter looks awesome. The bow, like I said, it looks fantastic. I've always enjoyed throwing axes at people, so to have that in Hunt Showdown seems very appropriate. But that's it, guys. Light the Shadow launches August 25th to September 22nd. Make sure you get your rounds in during this event to earn some of those exclusive rewards and play the new map finally on consoles.
If you suffer from eye strain, dry eyes, headaches and lack of sleep from blue light emitted from digital devices from a lot of hours of gaming, then you may be interested to know that on the Xbox Insider Hub on the Alpha Skip Ahead Ring program, Microsoft is working on a new level system called Night Mode. In the Night Mode update, you'll be able to set schedules for when the console goes into night mode, including the manual scheduling and automatic scheduling according to the time zone, sunrise and sunset times. Also in the night modes, you'll be able to set several parameters to make gaming in the dark more comfortable, such as the adjustment of the blue light filter, which can affect the ability to fall asleep, and the overall brightness of the image sent to your display. Also in line with the brightness controls, night mode also allows you to toggle the HDR on and off based on the time of day, which you prevent games from booting up with eye-searing brightness levels. Now this update is available right now and I'll definitely be checking this one out. It's an amazing idea by Microsoft for all these streamers and gamers that play games for long periods of time and they suffer from lack of sleep or headaches and dry eyes. Also in this update you can actually control the brightness of the Xbox logo on the console as well as your controller as well.
Alright, Scott, this week we're observers in what could be perceived as hell. Alright, Scott, this week we got our hands on Observer Redux, a remaster of a game that came out in 2017. Now this might come to people as a bit of a surprise, because why would you want to remaster a game from 4 years ago? But man, playing this on the Series X, dude, it looks fantastic. The colors, the setting, everything is just immaculate. And you know, let's get into what this game actually is. You are an observer, sort of detective, and this game is a detective walking sim. It starts you off with you in your car, and your son calls, who you haven't been in contact with for a long time, and he's in distress, clearly, so you get his location and try to find him, and you enter this apartment building, which you spend a lot of time in. And this is where the game starts off. You're in this apartment building searching for him. But man, okay, what did you think, first impressions of this game?
Well, taking a look at it in the trailers, the announcement, it looks like it's a very horror-centric kind of walking sim. And that's exactly the kind of thing that I've played a lot of. But it very early on becomes apparent that it's not as much horror-based. There certainly are elements, but it's not the main drive of the game. It's predominantly a detective problem-solving game where you're going through this apartment block, speaking to everybody you can, kind of finding ways to get to all the different apartments, and then piecing together kind of what's going on. There's a lot of stories between the different people that are unrelated to your son, and then really you're just trying to find your son and what happened to where he went. The first thing you find in the apartment building is a very deceased person, but you quickly do some forensics and find out it's not your son. So the race is on to find out what happened to him, where he is, and if he's safe. And that leads into a lot of different scenarios. I mentioned it's a walking sim, but you're more or less solving issues in each room as you progress, and some of them get quite detailed or deep, where you have to find something ahead of time so that you know the right code to input into a door to leave the room, or to activate a computer, or whichever it is. There's things that you have to pay attention to while you're maneuvering around. There's a lot of audio logs that have stories, kind of hints of where to go, because a lot of the rooms are locked, and there's some holes in the walls that you have to kind of navigate to find a secondary entrance into some of these rooms. And some of those become kind of like a long series of rooms, and you find yourself lost in this apartment building. But even more interesting than that to me was the kind of science fiction elements to it. You are an observer. This is set in the year 2084, so it's quite in the future, but it seems like society is starting to degrade. You are normally from a kind of better off surrounding area, and you go into the slums to find out where your son went. And there's a lot of sad kind of situations happening in this apartment block, and you get the idea that the world is kind of crumbling. There's a nanophage, they call it, where it's like a transmissible disease among those who have cybernetic implants. So there's a couple characters that you meet that are very cybernetic, and you yourself have certain additions to your body that give you the ability to be an observer. And the observers are really cool because their main ability is they can pull a cable out from behind their head somewhere and plug it into somebody else's head and access all of their memories. So they can't really lie to you at that point. You're kind of the be-all, end-all of detectives. And that's where a lot of the really kind of crazy things happen in this game. It's really colorful in certain scenarios and really dark in other ones. But what was your first impression getting into it?
Well, man, experiencing those memories was a trip, dude. Especially on the Series X. It's just colorful and moving fast, and just the entire time it goes from, like, you know, within 10 frames you'll sometimes, you know, see two different settings. It's just like flashing and flashing, moving forward, and then you're looking around, and then all of a sudden something's right in your face, and then boom, you're in another setting. It's very kind of confusing, to be honest. But by the end of it, it all pieces things together, and it just, in my opinion, it is done masterfully, man. Whoever created all this has a very imaginative mind.
Yeah, so this comes from Bloober Team. They are known for the Medium most recently, and some of the more horror element kind of games. So this was exactly their kind of wheelhouse that they could produce, and I think they did a great job on it because it treads the line between horror and just straight up sci-fi. And those, we call them trips, because when you plug into somebody else's head and you experience their memories, everything is not proper. The area is degraded or super light and looks like a Tron world in sometimes. There's one that I entered that was a painted world. It kind of looked like that Picasso painting, and it was just absolutely chaotic. There's a lot of kind of jump scares that pop up, or these weird phantom ghosts that walk around this office building that you're exploring, and it just, that's where the imagination really dials up. And that stuff was really cool because I feel like you're kind of maneuvering from one of those experiences to the next, and the apartment rooms and stuff that you're in are just kind of like a intermission between these. But that's kind of reductive because really the entire game is just about finding an answer to the problem, whether it's a code or, oh, this guy remembers a door that's open, so then you can go check that out when you're back in your own body. It's a really cool premise to kind of wrap your mind around, but when you go through one or two or three of these, you get the hang of it and you know what to look for. But it's really exciting, and I want to mention, this game doesn't exactly have combat to it. It's not extremely action-led. It's a lot about story and exploring the world. That's going to turn away some people, but if you like any of the walking sim kind of games, I would definitely recommend that you check this out and see if it is for you, because it is very sci-fi, but I really enjoyed my time.
This story and the graphics alone, everything is very gripping, man. The music, everything is just perfectly set up. If I'm gonna actually get a score this, dude, I'm gonna have to give it an 8. I had a wicked time with Observer Redux on the Series X.
Yes, the Series X is what I was playing on as well. I saw a little bit of degrade when I moved to my Xbox One S. Just some frame rate issues and some loading. That was interesting to see. So it does indeed take advantage of the better hardware. But I want to preface the score with a little bit of a warning. This is, we talked about this earlier, an absolute minefield for anybody who's epileptic.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, this game is really interesting and quite beautiful. But some of the things you see while you're in somebody else's head, these crazy Tron colors, everything's neon lit, they're skipping in and out, there's a lot of like kind of flashing going on. It's quite dangerous if you do have a condition, so it's something to take into mind while you play this game. But when you get past that kind of brightness and into it, and you get kind of sucked in by the story, it's really easy to put several hours into the game at a time. I would have like a eureka moment and then just keep going, and that's what led me through. It was really interesting. I really appreciate that all the characters were voiced, because you're speaking to a lot of these people. You can make choices in some scenarios, and there's a lot of kind of, I wonder what the differences are in the game after those points. You know, do I have a morality that gets compromised? Am I getting a good ending or a bad ending by the end of the game? I have to play it a few times to know what the differences are, but it was very, very deep. The gameplay was good enough for me. It doesn't have to be, not every game has to be a shooter, that's fine. And I really enjoyed my time spent in this one. I have to give it an 8 as well. Observer is a gripping story surrounding a dark future world and characters. It has amazing visuals and puzzle sequences that keep the player hooked for more.
In the time of your life, live, so that in that good time there shall be no ugliness or death.
Yo, what's up everybody? Did you know ITG Daily is a show that Scott and I cover each and every day with the latest in video game news? That's right, we cover the hottest in news every single day. You can join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg as well as YouTube. But if you can't join us live, then you should hit us up later, InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. What do we talk about? Well, things like this, so check it out. Scott, let's get into the world of Splitgate Studio wants to bring the game to the Nintendo Switch and mobile. Splitgate Studio 1047 Game says bringing the game to the Nintendo Switch and mobile is absolutely part of its product roadmap. Dude, we saw them recently hit a huge milestone with their beta release, hitting 2 million downloads in 14 days. And now they're talking about transitioning it over to consoles as well as the Nintendo Switch and a mobile adaptation for it as well. Did you get into Splitgate at all?
I wasn't able to play the beta yet. I think it's still up though, so I'm gonna have to get on that because it's exactly the kind of thing I enjoy. The quick-paced shooter with some sci-fi on top. Oh yeah.
Well, it's got this portal element too, right? Where you're able to put a portal here and a portal there, and you can go through it, or you can actually shoot through it, which I thought was the coolest thing. Where I shot through the one portal, jumped out the other one, and killed somebody. I'm like, man. Like, that was a neat little twist I've never experienced. I thought that was cool. Part of the vision is we want to be available on everything. Prue said when asked about the possibility of bringing the game to new platforms. We want to be available on mobile, Switch, everything. Dude, that is pretty everything. And maybe Stadia? That would be everything.
Yeah, that's just about the only frontier left for them at that point.
Absolutely. It's not on the top of our priorities, but again, we want everybody. It's important to us that people can play with their friends, and that means cross-play on everything, he added.
Ooh.
Yeah. Before caveating that the cross-play support between mobile and other platforms would be a maybe.
Okay, because that was my first concern is how are they going to mix and match that up? That's a little unfair in some ways.
Absolutely. There's also confirmed enhancements coming to the Xbox Series X and S, as well as the PS5 are planned in the pipeline. We're going to do it. He said, I'm not ready to share any specifics, but there's some obvious things that pretty much every game is doing that we will explore doing. We intend to have the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S versions out already. It's just been a matter of having 110% focus on servers as much as possible. They had a huge influx. We just talked about that. And it basically kind of stopped a bit of the production on the actual game, Scott, so that they can get the servers up and running to the capacity of holding all the players. So I do appreciate the fact that they transitioned so quickly to make sure that servers are there for players, because your game would die so fast if you aren't able to bring in the gamers and let them play the game. That's the biggest thing, right?
Oh, yeah, we've seen that with other releases this year, even where it's just hasn't been well supported server side, and then it just has dropped interest almost immediately. But this is one of the better reasons to kind of divert development, I think. Massive success. I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's a little thing for you, Scott. They want to introduce a ping system and, you ready? A Halo-style Forge mode.
Okay, that's interesting.
Isn't it? Man, to bring in your own maps and stuff like that, I think would be a cool feature. And, of course, help with the longevity of the game, keeping that community up and running well, I think is the major focus. I think Splitgate is a cool game. So fast when I tried it, though, dude, I was lost. Like, it was so quick. Definitely a little faster than my typical Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Titanfall, so that is more my category.
Sure.
Quick, fast-paced shooters plus Portal. That sounds like a cool idea. I see why they're on to some success here.
Absolutely. Even beyond that, a mod kit is said. That's something I have found fond memories of. Unreal Tournament mods, playing all sorts of goofy things. So I think that would be very cool as well. This was all stated during a live stream talking about the game. Man, so much. That sounds cool. They have some great ambition over there to bring over Splitgate to every platform. But yeah, nothing mentioned about Stadia. We'll see if that's going to happen or not, Scott.
Just the only thing that's left unannounced is a battle royale mode at this point.
Dude, well, maybe in the Forge mode.
I keep joking, but it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. The guys were live this week over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, checking out the latest in Rogue Company. Let's see how they did.
Enemy spotted. Weapons
Wonder if people drop money in this one.
Oh, boys.
Gotta have your character do the floss dance. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
Go here.
We be living.
I don't think this is how zip lines work.
I see you, Steve.
I see you too.
How about that grenade?
You go.
Oh, how did he get behind me?
Steve, he's right there, buddy. You got him.
Scott's coming from behind. Guys.
Yeah, Steve-O with the finish. That's my boy. Oh, I hear trouble behind us.
I know the feeling, man.
Ooh.
Oh, he's down.
Oh, you see me there? Oh man, that's a peek. Oh, I see the line. I see the line.
Oh, he came behind. No, Nate came behind.
Oh.
Oh, I got hit by the mine. You guys can get me. Oh, they're coming.
Oh no.
Get him there, Adam.
Crap.
You got it. Yeah.
You got the handgun.
Hot swap.
That's good.
I need a weapon.
Get out of here. Oh, boys, they're up top in the tower.
Whoever's in the tower, they drop down.
Gave him a
Yep.
kill.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Oh.
You have much to learn.
Thank you.
You got that 2 seconds. Jeez.
Oh.
Ah,
come
both. Nate's coming from behind.
We've captured the objective.
Oh, he's on top.
That was a good duel.
Good one. You don't panic.
I got two
Jumped
here. I
on
got
top.
two here.
Oh,
Yeah.
lazy.
Coordinated attack. Coordinated attack.
Ah.
Post match.
We only have 5 reinforcements remaining. Lethal out.
Oh.
Got one down. Circling
Behind
circling
us.
around.
Oh no, too many guns. Too many guns. Sorry, Scott. I tried to loop around and it was too slow. I gotta buy something. $16,000. What am I doing?
Oh. Oh, good shot, Scott.
I saw
You were
just-
flying through the air.
You took one step and I knew you were
Oh, Nathan.
Oh! Did I throw it? Oh, I didn't even throw it.
We've lost the objective.
Get him, man. Get him.
Oh, oh. Oh, he's just barely alive. I think he's behind you, Steve.
Lethal out.
Oh,
Daniel, he's right there.
Such a slow reload, Scott. I appreciate it though.
Almost had
Or
that.
not reload, sorry, revive. It's like the slowest revive.
It's not a quick one.
It feels like the
Especially
slowest
compared to
5
Siege.
seconds. Yeah.
Like, Siege is pretty quick.
Yo, that thing was right at your feet and you're dancing around it.
I'll watch this. I'll watch this.
I'll take it.
Oh, I didn't realize I was out.
It's a good spot.
Oh, it's just me.
Yeah.
Sudden death.
Oh, he's right underneath me.
Oh.
Ah.
Nice. Try to end up 50 times. Damn.
Last round. End strong.
That's
This means war.
Yeah, now we're in it. Now we're in it.
yeah.
Hit him with the floss dance before the start.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been emoting this whole time.
Yeah, man, this game's all about the emotes. You remember we played Fortnite?
Thought this was Fortnite. What are we playing?
Wait a minute. This isn't Dauntless?
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
No, what happened to that game? Has anybody checked in with Dauntless in a while?
They had a huge
Still going.
update. They ripping.
Yeah, I think their updates were just like turning red things blue and blue things red. I'm not sure, obviously, but gave each monster a glitter and called it a day.
Oh wow! I'm such an idiot.
Firebomb.
Oh, you saw- I thought you saw me throw that.
Vicious.
Taking this guy's gun.
You both lost your 1v1s, and I was like, oh no, where's my guy? Blech. Got me.
Circling around.
Yeah.
I got 2 here.
Nate ran away.
He's right here.
Back up, back up, back up, back up.
Oh, I tried to throw the bat and then I switched. I screwed that right up. Like Scott said earlier, flailing.
The panic twitch.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh,
might
man.
save your life in Warzone, but you never know.
Utility out.
Oh,
Oh no! That thing like shot by 3.
That was a flashbang, I think.
Oh, okay, that makes more
Oh, I
sense.
fell off.
I meant to throw a frag grenade, but I guess
Oh,
Lit him
that's
up. It's half. Oh. Oh no, I didn't
Burn
mean to
that
jump the fire. I tried to jump up onto that thing, like grab the ledge.
Oh my gosh! Spawn, I killed 2 of you and I killed the third of the other guys. Already back.
for revenge.
We've lost the
So quick.
Oh yeah, that thing really does just shake you.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, I couldn't keep target. Oh, that was close.
That was wildly close. Oh man, it's a good battle, bro.
I could see.
Oh, Nate's on the point.
Behind me. I got Nate.
finish the job.
God, come back this way. Oh, it was Steve. Sneaky.
Sneaky Steve.
You gotta watch out for him. You think you're safe. And then he dispenses half a clip in your back. It's a signature move.
Oh, I got disconnected.
Oh.
You get disconnected?
Or we lose.
I was saying you lost, but did you get disconnected right at the end? You were walking towards me.
He had
No,
41 kills. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that was just so fast, man. It didn't even like. Is that how it works? You just end the game?
Ours was longer because it said victory across it. Yeah.
Yo, I didn't even finish dying. It was just like, and then just defeat. What the heck?
close
That's
match.
wild.
Daniel 40. Parker 41.
Well, that'll wrap up today's episode. Thank you for hanging out with us. And as always, you can be a part of the show. Go to insidethegame.ca or hit us up in Discord. We're there. You can submit your clip and end off our show. This week, we have Red Fox with a nice little swipe in Rainbow Six Siege. Until next week, thanks again, and we'll see you inside the game.